to provide the digital rights to the companies and to the different individuals who are working in those companies. So let's start. Before we start with the digital rights, let me give you some brief introduction of myself. Like, I have approx 8 years of experience into the different domains. Like, I worked for CAD, CAM, PLM, and into the networking. So where actually we were managing the different data, different kind of technologies, different kind of products we were working, and how all those things actually, when we see through a different lens, we can find that it is more about how we are protecting each and every individual entity which are on the internet. So uh, so let's see what Accops do generally. Accops is a workspace, work from anywhere solutions provider. Okay, so it enables the organizations to move their infra where they can actually provide work from home solutions, and the applications which are restricted to the organizations can be accessible on the internet. It is a multiple products which are part of it, which is combined mix. This Accops work from home solutions, which have like products like end user computing virtualizations. When we say end user computer virtualization, it is the VDI solutions which is provided. The VDI solutions are the one which allows users to access the desktop or the applications over the internet without making them without opening them to the public network. Zero trust based access gateway. So this is the VPN solutions which is used to access the to access the private applications on a public network. So when we talk about the digital rights, zero trust based access comes into the picture, because when you have a open internet, you can actually access any data. Okay, but that data which is transferring from your machine to the end to the server where that application is installed, then you required a secured access. So zero trust based access gateway helps you in providing that access. And endpoint hardware device management, it helps the users to manage, or it helps organization to allow or deny the logins to the different from the different devices. So consider I'm using one devices today, and if I try to use the second device tomorrow, it is not possible unless until my admins or my organization allowed me to do that. So it's like, by combining those products, we are actually providing a complete work from home solutions where that can be used by any organization. So coming to Accops, Accops is a internet-based company which is located in Pune. The headquarters is Pune, but we are now working from everywhere in India. So after COVID, once the work from home actually started, or once the work from home actually boosted, we are working from everywhere in India. Uh, Accops is established by alumni of AID, Mr. Vijendra Yadav. He's a co-founder and CTO, and Mr. Mohan Bhatt, who is co-founder and the CSO. It is uh, actually the leading work from home solutions provider in India and also in the JPAC regions. So we have the multiple customers which is actually all over the globe. We have we are partnered with the multiple tech giants like Microsoft, Cisco, Oracle, Nutanix, Google Clouds to provide the infra, the cloud infra on-premise infra for accessing the networks. So this is the complete or complete worksuite of Accops, where we have a digital workspace, where we have a secure end user computing application and desktop virtualizations. ICT lab virtualizations is a high lab where we are actually providing the solutions for the universities, where you can host your labs uh, uh, on a cloud, and the applications which is required can be accessed by the students. Accops virtual browser, which is actually used to provide or to allow you uh, to access the internet in isolation. When we say isolation, it's like the data which is part of the which is part of the system is not going to be open on the network. It is restricted to the system itself. JTNA gateway, like I already told, it is provide you the access of your private applications on a public network. Strong identity management. It's a multi-factor authentication. So you have all of you, I think, used Google Gmail IDs, right? So on Gmail ID, you put your username and password. After that, there's a OTP windows comes up, right? So OTP could be a part of, it could be a token which you already saved, or you can actually ask to send it on a mail or send it on a different phone number. So this is the way. This is the same applications, but having the multi more options into it, like options like you can have a biometric authentications, you have hardware token authentications, you can have a fingerprint authentications, and many more into it. So by using that, you can integrate, or you can put that put any applications and use the MFA to enhance the security of your applications. Like by integrating it, it doesn't, you don't need to do additional code for it. You just put the single API into it, and it will authenticate the data. And endpoint machine, so endpoints are zero client, or we call it a thin client, which required very less computing, very less resources, from where you log in into the Accops digital workspace, and you will be able to access your applications or VDIs through it. There's another application, the secure OS. So consider you don't want to install any applications on your system, any Accops application on your system. So what you can do, you can take one USB drive, you just plug in into your system, and automatically the Accops workspace will be loaded. And once you remove it, it will be removed. So no, there's no data communication happening, or there's no data sharing will be done uh, between your system and the Nano OS, or the OS which is present in the USB. Okay. So this is the product line of Accops, and using that we are providing a different solutions for different organizations. So let's come to our topic today. What is digital rights, or how digital rights are protected, or how we can protect the digital rights by writing, or whenever we are writing a new applications, how we can actually protect the rights. Before we actually go what and how we can actually achieve, or we can protect the digital rights, let's discuss why we require digital rights. In the current world where we are living right now, each and every individuals are on the internet. we are actually accessing multiple applications, we are accessing multiple we are using multiple different site of websites, and we never bothered about what data we are uploading or what data we are downloading. It's like we just in a race where we wants to download or upload a data and wants to access the information which is present on the network. But are we looking into the facts that how the whatever you are searching on the internet or whatever you are accessing on the internet, is it affecting or is it going to affect your life, or whether it is going to use in a different way to provide or to actually change your psychological thinking. If there's a multiple examples happened how the data securities or the how these can be help in manipulation of each and every individuals. If everyone or like some of you remember in 2016 when the US elections happened, the Cambridge Analytica actually collecting the data and showing the different ads to the different persons, right? So it is actually changing your mentality or your thinking, how you actually go into the elections, and how it is affecting your thought process while selecting a candidate. Because whatever you are searching, they are actually taking that search as a data input and providing you the output which is actually help their candidate. So it's whenever we try to access something, it's like we wants to we wants to see what kind of data we are sending and how we can control it. All of you using Google, right? Have you ever tried to check how the data is used, how Google is using your data, how you can actually make the data, like how you can delete the data, how you can actually manage your data, like what kind of data can be saved, what kind of information that can be captured? Anyone? How you actually is it helpful in protecting your privacy or not? So it's like whenever we try to access whenever we try to use some sort of applications, we there's a guidelines from the government, right? You have to put each and every informations, how your data is going to be collected, how your data is going to be used, and how the data, why we need to use like why the organization needs to use this data. So this is all there, but we never bothered about while accepting the privacy policies. We just accept it. We just wants to download the application on our system, on our phone, on our laptops, and just wants to use it. We never ever think about how that is going to be affected. So whenever so that's why the digital rights are coming into place, where like the government is now actually forcing the corporates or the uh, application designers uh, to provide certain sort of informations, or like to actually elaborate why they require certain sort of data, why how this data is going to be used, and how they can provide control to the users where they can delete it, because deletion of data is very important. I think most of you have used Alexa, Google Home, or Apple Home, right? Whatever you are saying, it is actually saved on a server, but we never ever deleted it, right? We just like whatever we say, it is just saved on a server, but we are never deleting it. So you can imagine if you having a different conversation or you having a private conversation which is actually captured by Alexa, and somehow it get open to the on the internet. Now whatever you are actually having, whatever conversation you are having, it is now open to everyone. So it's not a moral responsibility of an organization, but it's a moral responsibility of each and every individuals which are accessing the network. we we should actually target, or we should actually whenever we are accessing something, we should always try to find why and how and uh, what this data can be done, what this data can do for me. So that's why the digital rights are coming into place. What are the digital rights? So it's digital rights are never talk about specifically on the like universal and equal access. So every individuals should have equal access of internet, whether a person is living in a city or a person is living in a remote village. All should have access to the internet and the resources available on the internet. So now it's as a developers or as a next generation engineers, it's our responsibility to design our product in such a way where we can actually optimize our applications to work in a low latency networks. So if consider I am actually sitting in a village where my speed is in kb or in bytes, I will not be able to open an application, right? So that's why I need to design some certain like I have to design application in such a way there is should be low latency when we are accessing the network or when we are accessing the internet. Also, we should design the application in such a way it should not be a case where it is not accessible to anyone. Consider example of Spotify. Spotify is a application which can be accessed by anyone which is either in a using a very low network or very having a very good bandwidth, but it's a minimal feature they have provided, right? So every application should have a minimal feature which can be accessible to everyone, but you can have a premium kind of premium accounts or premium privileges which can be given to a certain users, but it should be accessible to everyone. Freedom of expression, information and communication. So this is the basic right, like whatever I want to say I can say it. We are doing it, right? We go to the Twitter, we go to any social media, we put whatever we want to say, right? So it's it's more like the government should not control these kind of thoughts, or like generally government actually restricts some certain type of like block some sort of videos or urls or kind of things just to in the name of protection of the country. So it should not be comes into place. It should be more evaluated whenever it is decided to block a certain sort of application, certain sort of urls or application. Privacy and data protection. So like I discussed, like how the Google is using. So every individual should have their control how their data is stored, how they can actually delete this data, how they can actually manage this data whenever they are using a certain application. Right to anonymity. So over the internet, whenever there's a data transfer happen, it could be encrypted or non-encrypted data. When it is a non-encrypted data, it is going to be accessed or can be seen by anyone who wants to look what kind of data is transferred between the two networks or between the two devices. So it should always be a case where you protect the right, protect the anonymity. When we say the anonymity, it should be your all your data should be encrypted format. Whatever you are actually transferring the data, it should be encrypted. The encryption could be of you can use any type of encryptions and for the data communication. but it should be a encrypted format. Right to be forgotten. So whatever we are searching, whatever Google search or Bing search or MSN search we are doing, we are actually providing some certain set of data to the different organizations, which can be sell or which can be used by another organizations to advertise you. This is the one aspect of it, like advertising you what you are trying to search. So consider you wants to buy a new shoes, you are searching on Google, like randomly you are searching the best shoes or something, and randomly you start getting your feed on YouTube, your Instagram, your Facebook, everywhere you are actually start getting advertisement from the shoes companies, right? So uh, it should not be a case where you will sharing all the data. It should be how you wants to uh, control the control the search, and also if you want to delete those histories, whatever you have done, it is easily accessible to you. Intellectual properties. So the creators who are created it should get recognitions for the creation he has done, whether it is the art, whether it's application design, whatever is created, the creators should get recognitions for this work. So it's not applicable only uh, to the applications we are designing. It is more the artistic work we are doing, the literature we are doing. Everything should be like protected by the intellectual property. Okay. Now we know why we required or why we have uh, digital rights in place, but how Accops is actually helping in protecting the digital rights. So we have multiple factors while protecting the digital rights. Like um, if I wants to transfer a data between my personal laptop to the office, the data should be encrypted. So Accops is encrypting each and every bits of data which is going on the network. This is how we are protecting the anonymity right. Like whenever we try to access something, we are actually encrypting it, then providing the access to the application or the network, and then decrypting it while accessing it. Second, we have it's not just we are actually protecting at the organization level, it is also at the individual levels. So consider we have a multi-factor authentications into it, and there's a biometric. And as a user, you are not okay to share your biometric data. Okay, so there's a consent-based access to the biometric data. You can either allow or deny the access. You can directly say, I don't want to keep monitoring. Like no application should monitor uh, my biometric data or my facial authentications. So it's like we are using it at the both side, at the user side and also uh, at the corporate side. There's a another solutions which is actually helping and privacy and the data protection. So whenever we try to access applications, we are recording that session. Okay, we want to record what user is doing on the system on the office network. So we have a kind of solutions which is actually monitor each and every individual activity and report it to the server, and where the server will identify any anomalies into it by going through this data. It could be a video data, it could be a some textual data, like the applications you are using and what kind of actions or actions you are performing on a certain applications. but all of all of this capturing happening by the user consent. So whenever you try to access any applications, there's a consent sent, there's a consent message sent to the user, like whether you want to continue it or not. Once the user continue it, then we start capturing it. Otherwise, there's a policies defined where you want to not allow the access or you want to allow the access. Okay. So whenever you are writing the any applications, like a certain aspect you must consider while writing it. Like the network latency should be minimal so that it can be accessible. Second, whatever you are writing, it should be encrypted format. The communication should be over the internet should be in the encrypted format. Third thing, it should be a kind of application which can be which easily available and can be used by any type of users. It could be combinations of multiple applications you are integrating into one, or it could be a single application you're designing from the scratch. But whenever you are writing, you are write in such a way it should be accessible to it should be accessible, it should be encrypted. uh, the user have a control on the data, whatever is shared on the network or whatever is shared on the applications or on the website. And also provide additional informations on time to time basis how they can actually manage their data if and when required. Okay. So this is mostly the different product line using which we are actually managing it. But as we already, as I some of them I already covered, like zero trust based encryptions, data leakage preventions. So as a corporate, you want your data is not going to be saved outside your office network. So what you can do, you can actually block the file upload, downloads, the copy paste operations, the prints, and the screen recordings. So this is the way you can actually control or manage the data. We are having a solutions which is morely work at the system level, where the data can be protected by using the different technologies of the uh, blocking the prints, capture screens, and copy paste operations. Device entry control. It's like as a corporate, you wants to allow or allow a certain sort of applications or certain sort of devices only. So you have a mobile device, you have a Windows device, you have a Mac devices, and as a corporate, you wants to allow a user login from a single device, or you wants to allow access to a particular geolocation. Okay. So as a user, if I lives in Pune, I will be able to access it. But if I move to different city, consider I move to Mumbai, the data or the access is not going to be allowed, right? So that's kind of control is there where admins can allow or deny the access, like if there's a change in the device, change in the different factors which is actually control the device management. Multi-factor authentications, uh, like biometric, uh, like fingerprints, facial authentications, hardware tokens, push notifications are there. Like there's a multiple way you can actually authenticate yourself, like two-factor authentications while you are accessing the application or while you are accessing the network. Secure container OS for BYOD, bring your own devices. So as I told about, there's a Nano OS, which is a bootable OS, or you plug in into your system and automatically there's a complete Accops isolated network will open. and where you can actually access your corporate data. Contextual access, it's more like you are granting access based on based on certain factors, and whatever you are doing, whether you are logging into applications, whether you are using Teams applications, Google application, Chrome application, everything is logged. Everything is logged on a centralized system which is used by the application. Any questions? Yes. So there is a product line coming up as a desktop as a service where that can be like it is going to be a desktop is going to be available to the users. So if you have a very low computing device, you log in into using your credentials, and it will provide you a desktop where you can install your applications, or you can also try to access a certain application. So consider you want to access a SAP applications or something like that. You can just log in into it. You like you put a mail, or you take the subscription of it, and you will be able to access it. It's it's not just the USB OSs. It's like from the browser you can access also. Okay, so it is going to be all the endpoint machines from the laptop to the tablet to the phone. Everywhere you can actually access those devices. It's a data security. It's anything happened, or uh, it's more like any malware attack or something happened, and somehow the data get leaked. It's the major challenge for Accops. Okay. So it's not all about so there's an anonymity into the data, right? It's not always be a case where your data is mapped to you. It could be saved, or it could be saved as a anonymous user's data, and can be used further for whatever whatever functionality or features you want to provide on this data set.